Mackenzie, a family member I spoke with who did not wish to appear on camera, says the whole thing was a big shock.
Okay, 911, where's emergency?
I'm at the beach and our porch is through. We were taking a family picture.
When the deck gave in, a family member says he grabbed the railing and edged over to a safe side of the deck before running down the stairs to help his family. Those staying in homes nearby said they heard a loud boom.
It's just a loud crashing, almost like a gun kind of going off, just a loud sound.
I just heard a loud bang. And I didn't hear people's voices. If I'd have heard screaming, it would have been worse.
She says she didn't think much of it until she saw the flashing lights of emergency vehicles.
We just thought, what in the world? Somebody hit something. We were just not panicky at that moment, but we knew something had happened.
Other people staying nearby say they were extremely concerned when they found out what happened because they saw several children with the family before the collapse.
Young kids, like I said, there was a little boy that was very comparable to my daughter's age, around 2 years old. So that was my first thought was, you know, obviously making sure we was okay.
We tried to contact all 3 hospitals where victims were taken, but they could not give us many answers. A spokeswoman at Brunswick Novant Medical Center says a total of 7 victims were treated at the hospital. Of those, 5 were treated and released. 1 was transferred to another hospital. The last victim is in good condition. The mother of the man who rented the house says that several of the victims have broken bones and some may need surgery. Another relative tells us he's just grateful that nobody died. Reporting live in Ocean Isle Beach, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3. Mackenzie.
I'm tired of hearing about the sleep studies. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So if I hear about another sleep study, you don't want to say that around me.
Last week, Catherine Cook was one of 3 Brunswick County School Board members to vote to switch schedules again this fall, returning the district to traditional start times. A day later, she went off during a Parent Advisory Council meeting.
The people want a traditional time. We're going to do traditional time.
But Cook admits she and other board members did not fully understand the reversal would cost the school system more than $1.7 million in the first year alone and could cost 60 full-time bus drivers their jobs.
We did not have the full picture of what the ramifications were going to be for the, for the bus drivers and for any other workers that were involved with the transportation.
But money was not the only target of her wrath. Cook last week also fired off at parents complaining about dealing with changing schedules. She even took a shot at the district's free lunch and breakfast program for needy kids.
We got free breakfast for everybody in the world. Am I going to be able to go to school and say, can I have free breakfast too? How many things are, we're just going to give everybody everything. Why don't we just let them sleep here at the school too? We can feed them, educate them, give them dinner, let them sleep here. Just live at the school.
Tuesday, Cook tempered her perspective.
If they qualify for it, that's fine, but it's just gotten to be where we give everybody everything, and it's everything on a silver platter.
In Brunswick County, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3.
The Cape Fear Raptor Center in Rocky Point has been rehabilitating an eagle named Aang. WWAY senior reporter Alyssa Rosenberg spent the day with the bird. She has a story that's only on 3.
This 2-year-old bald eagle was found in a parking lot with lead poisoning, unable to fly. The Cape Fear Raptor Center's Dr. Joni Gnip took Aang under her wing to nurse the sick eagle back to health.
He was really depressed. He couldn't hold his head up. He couldn't stand up. He's almost 8 pounds, and literally he had absolutely no desire to fight us at all.
Now, just 2 months later, this big bird is flying to new heights and ready to return to the wild. He may not look like a bald eagle yet. Young birds lack the white head and tail, but he certainly acts like one. Aang Gnip says it feels great to help these and other birds get back where they belong. Aang will be released July 6th at 10 a.m. at the North Shore Golf Course. In Pender County, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3.
WWAY's Alyssa Rosenberg is live on Market Street. Good morning to you, Alyssa.
Good morning, you guys. Well, the snow is still coming down here at the Waffle House off Market Street in Wilmington. It was coming down a lot harder before, but now it's just coming down a little bit. But people have been coming here all throughout the morning trying to warm up, have some coffee, and have some food because it's one of the only places open right now. But as you can see, there's snow everywhere, ice everywhere, which is causing some dangerous situations on the road. We spoke with one man who got into an accident today because of that.
Coming around a corner, snow sliding everywhere. I mean, it couldn't really stay on the road anyway. Shouldn't have been driving in the first place. But coming around a corner, the car just started drifting off and couldn't do anything about it. Hit a curb. It was slow, but I mean, scared everybody.
So guys, it's very important that you stay off the roads. There hasn't been too much traffic here on Market Street, so that's really good news. Snow plows have been coming around, so be careful, guys. Stay off the road, stay warm, and stay inside. Live in Wilmington, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3.
This just in from Holden Beach, where a woman was bitten apparently by a shark while swimming. Alyssa Rosenberg is on the scene with more. Alyssa.
We're in Holden Beach, where emergency services say a 60-year-old woman was bitten by a shark. We're here with Michael now, who says he saw the whole thing happen. Michael, tell me what you saw.
I saw people in just an utter panic coming out of the water, and they were dragging a 60-year-old woman, and she was clearly bitten. If I were to guess, I would say the shark was probably 4 or 5 feet long, but she was only attacked in, I would say, 3 feet of water. And that just goes to show you, you know, you can be inshore and still not really be safe. There's a lot of bait fish today. After I saw everybody running out, there were a lot of parents that were just kind of ignoring. I don't know if they thought we were joking or what, but I ran all the way up the beach and said, get out of the water, and everybody finally did get out of the water. But it's very scary for a Pennsylvanian on vacation, you know. So once you have more of a chance of being struck by lightning, and it makes me have a new respect for the ocean.
Now, you said that you saw the injury. Tell me, describe to me what you saw.
I didn't see the injury in full scale. I saw them packing it with ice. I saw that there was a lot of blood loss. The woman looked like she was pretty well shocked, and her lips were white, and she asked very politely if she could swear, and everybody said go ahead and swear, and so she did, and it took hopefully it took some of the pain away, but I just wish her a very quick and happy recovery.
Alrighty, well, you heard it first on 3, reporting in Holden Beach, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3.
Okay, good dog, good boy. God.
While deployed in Afghanistan, U.S. Marine David Nilsson trained dogs to detect IEDs. Over time, he developed a close relationship with a black lab named Sunny.
Me and Sunny's bond, I mean, it was awesome. I think first time I met him to, the last time I saw him before I left Afghanistan, it was just something I felt, was pretty cool.
After 4 months, Nilsson returned home from duty, but he did not forget about his best friend overseas. Nilsson learned Sunny would soon retire, so instead of having him put up for adoption, he decided to keep him as his family dog. Nilsson filled out the necessary paperwork and hoped for the best.
My chances were slim to none. Luckily, 2.5 weeks ago, I got the call, I got the email saying, hey, I get congratulations, we're gonna get to fill some paperwork out here and there, and he'll be yours to pick up whenever.
Now the two, along with Nilsson's 4-year-old son, live happily in Ogden.
Ready? Okay. Heel. Sit. Stay.
And Nilsson says Sunny has already confirmed there are no IEDs in his backyard.
He walked around, and I didn't have to really give him any commands. I just needed to hear too, and walked around and perimeter check, and and he's always searching, nose to the ground, and looking for anything and everything.
And even though Sunny is 8 years old, Nilsson says it's still puppy love.
I do love the boy, and I think hopefully he loves me.
In New Hanover County, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3.
So New Hanover County Sheriff's deputies in the hospital after being shot today in Creekwood.
And tonight, the search continues for one of the men wanted in the shooting. Our team has this story covered from all angles. We start with WWAY's Alyssa Rosenberg live in Creekwood with the latest. Alyssa.
Mackenzie, the Creekwood community is still swarming with law enforcement officers after a sheriff's deputy was shot while patrolling the area. Deputies say just after noon, they began to follow the suspect's car into the Creekwood community, where deputies say both men got out and began to walk around. Sheriff spokesman Jerry Brewer says the deputies were just trying to talk to the two suspects when they started shooting at the deputies. One deputy took cover behind a telephone pole and fired back at the suspects, but the other deputy was shot. Officers caught one suspect, but the other is still at large.
It's a grave concern any time that we have, a deputy involved or a police officer involved in a shooting. Luckily at this point it's a non-life-threatening injury. But as you can see from the show of force here and the multitude of agencies that are here, it is one of our brothers who has been hurt.
Deputies say they are searching for a black male in black jeans, a black hoodie, and a knit cap. Now, anyone with information on where the suspect may be is asked to contact the New Hanover County Sheriff's Department. Live in Wilmington, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3.
New Hanover County Sheriff's deputies have ended a standoff with an armed man at a home off Castlehane Road. Deputies say it was the man's family who helped bring things to a quiet end. WWAY's Alyssa Rosenberg explains.
Sheriff spokesman Jerry Brewer says the call originally came in at 11:23 this morning as a hostage situation. Brewer says a family member stopped by the home at 122 Gladiolus this morning, where relatives found the 70-year-old man with a gun refusing to let his wife leave. The relative left to get help. Brewer says by the time deputies arrived, the man's wife had gotten out of the house safely. A neighbor says this is out of character for a man he describes as a friendly guy.
I'm just amazed. I would have never thought that it would have been him. Like I said, I thought it was somebody up here, that I didn't know, but had no idea it was him until somebody just called and told me.
Negotiators got the man, whose name has not been released, to let relatives in and take him to the hospital for a mental evaluation. The family did not want to do an interview with us. They say this is a family matter. In New Hanover County, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3. The sheriff said he did not have time for an interview today. However, inmates behind these bars had plenty to say about the conditions of the jail. While I was outside the jail, inmates yelled through the windows to me about bad conditions inside.
They got inspectors and mold all over the walls in here. And the people being here sick, growing up, and they will not come and check on them. You have to tell them that you're either dying or you're going to commit suicide for them to come back and check on you.
And several inmates said they need to see doctors, but cannot.
I've been in here for 5 months. I've been trying to see the doctor for 4.5 months because they would not let me see the doctor. I got to hurt you.
Inmates say when they have a problem, their complaints fall on deaf ears.
Every time we write a grievance form, they take it and they throw it away.
In Bladen County, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3.
For months, we've tried speaking with Bladen County Sheriff Prentice Benston several times since first looking into the problems at the county jail.
In November, he referred us to County Attorney Leslie Johnson. So we sent Johnson a long list of questions and concerns about the jail in November, December, January, and now February. And today, some answers. Well, sort of. WWAY's Alyssa Rosenberg has the lead at 5:30. That's only on 3. After nearly 4 months of waiting, we have finally heard back from County Attorney Leslie Johnson about the conditions inside the Bladen County Jail. In a letter, Johnson says the 50-year-old jail needs to be modernized. Johnson says county leaders were already taking measures to find a solution long before problems arose. He says county commissioners approved money for a feasibility study for construction of a new jail or improving the old one, and hiring architects. We tried once again Wednesday to speak with Sheriff Prentice Benston, but once again he did not want to talk. Instead, he said everything we need to know is in Johnson's letter. But by not talking to us, Benston again refuses to answer our questions about complaints from current and former inmates that include mold, human waste being thrown, a lack of medical care, and other concerns about the safety and upkeep behind these walls. We asked the sheriff if we could go inside the jail and see the conditions for ourselves, but he declined for security reasons, saying inmates could throw things at me. In Bladen County, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3.
All we knew we was going, and all at one time the boat just quit. We hit a sandbar, and everybody went backwards at forwards.
Eddie Almond rides the ferry almost every day, but Tuesday his trip turned out much different than ones before.
I was at the back about 2 feet for the bathroom, and I was holding on to the rail, and whenever it locked up, I went back this way and hit the door.
He says people were yelling for help and some passengers were bleeding. Those who could help rushed to the hurt while they waited for more help to arrive.
Everybody stayed calm and came together and helped out the injured until the Coast Guard got there.
Everybody was just checking on everybody, basically. Everybody was like, are you all right?
Witnesses say injured passengers were evacuated first and taken to the hospital. The remaining ones were evacuated to Deep Point Marina. Commander Center Chief for Sector North Carolina, Lieutenant Lane Monroe, says for future passengers, there is nothing to worry about.
There is really no indication that there's a risk to mariners or risk to passengers that's above normal.
And Allman says this crash will not keep him from riding the ferry.
Mark Wilsey says he called police when his 18-year-old son, 90 pounds, had a screwdriver and would not let go of it. But Wilsey says he never expected calling for help would end with his son being shot and killed by someone sworn to serve and protect. WWAY's Alyssa Rosenberg joins us with more in the lead at 6. Alyssa.
Brandon Wilsey says his son, Keith Vidal, had schizophrenia and was having an episode this afternoon. He says his son had about a 6-inch screwdriver and was threatening to fight his mother, so they called police to calm him down. Wilsey says everything was under control until a third officer arrived and the situation took a turn for the worse.
Murder. They murdered our son for no reason.
Mark Wilsey is searching for an explanation and justice after he says a Southport police officer murdered his son, 18-year-old Keith Vidal, Sunday afternoon. Wilsey says he and his wife called police to their home on the 1100 block of President's Drive in Boiling Spring Lakes when their mentally ill son refused to let go of a screwdriver. He says the first officers to respond nearly had the situation under control when a third officer arrived.
Everything was going good. Then this fat cop from Southport walks in the room, walks around the corner, says, we don't have time for this. Tase that kid now, let's get him out of here.
Wilsey says like any teenage boy, his son tried to run when he heard the word tase.
The tasers hit him, he fell back. 2 officers, on top of him. He's got the little screwdriver. I mean, I would have went and got the screwdriver from him. I went to help and I hear a shot.
Wilsey says he grabbed the officer so he could not shoot again.
What'd you shoot my son for? Well, I protected my officers. There was no reason for deadly force here.
Now Vidal's family is left mourning their loved one.
It's hard to talk about, but he just wanted to keep to himself, but he really was. He just an outgoing kid, loved to do stuff. He was talking about coming and pressure washing, working with me in the summertime.
Vidal's brother says he was enrolled in online classes and trying to better himself, but now he says that has been taken from him.
The kid's 18. He hadn't even started his life yet. Now he'll never get a chance to.
Brunswick County District Attorney John David was at the scene shortly after the shooting. Officials say the State Bureau of Investigations is looking into the case.
It is the 5th largest jackpot in history. WWAY's Alyssa Rosenberg joins us live in Wilmington with more. Alyssa?
Mackenzie, flocks of millionaire hopefuls are making their way to their nearest gas stations with dreams of winning it big. I just bought my lottery ticket, so hopefully luck is on my side tonight. But even though the odds are slim, less than 1 in 175 million, James Wright says he has big plans for the money if he wins. He says he would buy a new car and a house. But when I asked what his biggest purchase would be, he said his true love is on the water.
I like to fish, so probably a big old boat, and that'd probably be my most frivolous purchase.
So, do you want to be a millionaire? Despite the slim odds after tonight, some of you could see your bank account soar to new heights. Now, the drawing is at 11, but you can still buy your tickets up until 10, so you still have a chance to strike it rich. Live in Wilmington, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3. Chris?
All right, Alyssa, thanks for...
Police say a validated gang member who was shot at a couple weeks ago is now charged with a stabbing, and they are searching for 2 of his brothers.
And today, we sat down with a suspect in jail to figure out what is going on with another string of violence police say is gang-related. WWAY's Alyssa Rosenberg has more in the lead at 6.
19-year-old William Point is charged with first-degree attempted murder, but he says he's an innocent man.
I told them I was in the barber shop and stuff, and that I didn't see nothing. They like, no, that's a lie, that's a lie. I'm like, how is that a lie? I can't really say nothing I didn't see. So they didn't believe me, so they just took me down.
Wilmington police say Point and two of his brothers, 22-year-old Adrian and 21-year-old Antonio, tried to kill Edvis Galloway Wednesday near 10th and Chestnut Streets. They say it was gang-related. But Point says he is not part of a gang.
My favorite color red, but I ain't affiliated. I'll be around people, but I ain't affiliated.
But Sergeant Amy Guy of the WPD Gang Task Force says he is. She says as the weather heats up, so does gang activity.
One gang member can disrespect the other, simple as throwing a hand sign at them or that type of thing, and then they have to make a name for themselves, stand up for their gang, and that's where you see a lot of the violence.
Point says this is not the case for him.
I'm not trying to make a name, but other people might.
He says police are targeting him and his brothers.
We be getting targeted and stuff like that, but we don't be starting the stuff.
Guy says parents need to pay close attention to who their kids are hanging out with and what they are doing. In New Hanover County, Alyssa Rosenberg, WWAY News Channel 3.
And the search continues for his brothers Adrian and Antonio Point. Anyone with information is asked to call Wilmington Police or send an anonymous tip to their text-to-tip hotline. William Point is in jail under a $750,000 bond.